the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa will start with the rehabilitation of most of their lines in Gauteng. This is an effort to rebuild some of the infrastructure that was damaged during the lockdown. The process is likely to cause some disruptions to services. Joining us now is a spokesperson for Prasa, Andiswa Makanda. Andiswa, good morning. Just walk us through the amount of disruption that you expect.
Good morning, Hugo. Good morning to your viewers of Newzroom Afrika. So we are essentially closing 3 of our lines in Gauteng to allow for the major reconstruction work to start happening. So much of the disruption relates to that we won't be running any train services. Obviously, this will come at a very huge inconvenience to our commuters who rely on our affordable train services. But the disruption is very necessary to allow for the much awaited and much needed reconstruction and rehabilitation work on our rail infrastructure.
So which lines are impacted? When does it all start? And how long will these processes take?
So as Prasa, we've taken a corridor approach in rebuilding our network. So part of it includes recovering the network corridor by corridor, line by line. In Gauteng, we're looking at the Naledi to Johannesburg line and the Pietersburg to Pretoria line. We will be closing those lines later today. On Monday, the work starts in rehabilitating much of the electrical work. We are also closing the Lirala to Elandsfontein line next week Friday, so that we can start the rehabilitation work. Pretoria to Kaffontein, we were not running any train services, but much of the rehabilitation work will also start in the next few weeks.
I suppose you've already communicated with the affected parties at some points. Please confirm if this has happened.
Yes, we have engaged the commuters, and before we issued the media release to the public, we did engage the commuters to make them aware that they need to make alternative transport arrangements for the next 3 to 4 months while we recover some of the services and fix the infrastructure on those lines. I think as much as it comes at a huge inconvenience, it is important that we do this work so that we can run more train services on that lines. We can bring in the modernization. We want to roll out the new electrical trains that were manufactured at Gibela, the blue trains. We want to start rolling those out on those lines come October.
So if we look at where we are today and October, when you hope to have completed the services, what are the changes? What can commuters expect?
So what we are doing is we're restoring the cable lines that were stolen. We're restoring the substations that were vandalized. We'll be fixing the tracks because it has been difficult to run some of the trains on our tracks because of the vandalism and theft. What we also want to do now is introduce the trains which are very fast and efficient, very clean. Safety has always been an issue with our yellow and green trains. So the blue trains that come with safety features where the train won't move if the doors are still opened. The issue of doors opening on our yellow and grey trains was a huge safety concern. These trains come with a technology that won't allow the trains to move when the doors are opened. We also have CCTV cameras installed in the train to address also the safety and security issue for our commuters. Also, the speed with which these trains come with is another huge highlight for our commuters. A lot of them have been asking that we introduce these new electrical trains on their lines, and that is what we want to do.
That'll also be welcome news, certainly by the commuters. But one of the issues you talked about is security, and there's been a challenge with security both on the train and off the train. I mean, we talk about the levels of vandalism that have occurred around the infrastructure that Prasa owns. How are you safeguarding both these issues?
We do have an integrated security plan, which is more intelligence-driven, because we also realized that there's a criminal syndicate that is working with some of our local community members in vandalizing and stealing our infrastructure. So what we've done is we've put in an integrated security plan. We've got national joint operations with the SAPS as well and other law enforcement agencies to safeguard our infrastructure. We implemented this plan in the Mabubane line in Pretoria, and I can safely say that we haven't had any incidences of theft or vandalism, although there are attempts. It shows that our security plan is bearing fruit, and that is the plan that we want to roll out across the country.
And security on the trains themselves?
We do have security on the trains patrolling all the coaches. That has been a huge relief for our commuters when we have security personnel inside the trains and around the stations.